I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're exploring the spiritual journey of Ramadan and the profound self-reflection it offers. We're talking about a powerful book. It is called Ramadan, 30-Day Journey. It's written by a wonderful author. Her name is Marianne Rothmann, and she provides a day-by-day guide to deepening faith, fostering patience, and embracing gratitude throughout this sacred month. Whether you're observing Ramadan for the first time or looking to enrich your practice, this book serves as an inspiring companion on your path to mindfulness and spiritual growth. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The links are below this interview. And be sure to download the Spotlight Network TV app streaming on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. Marianne, thank you so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
It is my pleasure. Great to have you on the show. Ramadan has begun. You're fasting now, I understand, as a matter of fact.
I am. It started last Saturday, so it has been, this is the 11th day today.
Tell us why you fast during Ramadan. Is it self-sacrifice? Is it a cleansing? Tell us a little bit about why followers of Islam fast.
It's everything. It's the cleansing, and it's I mean, it's obviously fasting is good for your body, but every year this is my 10th year, and every year I have learned something from fasting. So it's not like I deliberately is thinking about something is gonna happen, but it's just every year has taught me something. So I think it's both um, cleansing your mind and body, I would say, and you learn something every year. Like I'm talking about in my book, every year has taught me something. If it's about patience or kindness, um, reflection, and thinking about other people who do not have what you have,
Yeah,
and grateful to always be grateful.
absolutely. And it's fasting from sunrise to sunset, right? No food between whenever the sun's up, basically, right?
Yeah, so right now here in Colorado Springs, it is right now from 6 a.m. to about 7.
Okay. It's a long day,
It's a long day,
13
but
hours. Yeah.
yeah, but when I was living in Sweden, in northern Sweden, in the summertime, it was about 22 hours.
Amazing. They need special rules for the Scandinavian countries because they have too much sunshine, that's for sure. But you can't even drink during this period, right?
No, you
Yeah,
cannot eat or drink.
yeah, yeah. Your book provides daily reflections and prompts. Talk to us about how they can help people make their Ramadan experience more meaningful.
Well, like I said, every day has its own theme, and so I in my book I start from suhoor, which is the breakfast before Fajr, which is the first prayer, and so I in my book I start from suhoor, and I start at the Isha, and I just go through the day just
Mhm.
so you don't feel alone, because
Yeah,
I have been alone at times during Ramadan. And I think the book offers guidance and a company. So you don't feel alone. If I
yeah,
mean, there's the reverts that might not know exactly like me. I didn't know exactly what to do. I self-taught,
yeah,
and I didn't exactly know what to do. So this book would have helped me just kind of guide me through the day, and
yeah,
so I wouldn't be alone.
yeah. The month-long fast ends with a special celebration. Tell us what happens at the end of Ramadan.
Well, you have Eid.
Yeah.
And that's when, everybody comes together and you celebrate with family and friends, and you have, it's a 3 day um, celebration where everybody comes together, and you have sacrifice. You just feel um, proud. You
Mm.
feel proud that you have gone through 30 days of fasting, and every day you read the Quran,
Mhm.
and you reflect, and you just take your time and enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful celebration. I mentioned to you before we started recording, I worked for a Turkish television station, and it was basically an Islamic television station. And during the month of Ramadan, I used to run in with my sandwich in my hand, and then I look around, and everybody around me is so hungry from having fasted all day. I learned to not be such an ugly American and not eat in front of people who are fasting. But we would end the day with a beautiful iftar dinner at the
Yeah,
end. And it was so great to enjoy your food after a day of fasting. It really is something that you look forward to sharing with others when possible. And it really kind of gives you new significance to the flavors of the food, the wonder of food, and the abundance that God gives us, right?
absolutely. I have fasted in all different kind of countries, and especially I lived in Saudi Arabia for a year. I
Mhm.
worked, and just to hear the just to feel the connection with the adhan going off in all the different minarets all over the little town I lived in, and it's just everybody just comes together, and you celebrate by eating in the mosque, and you just have such a community,
Yeah.
and
I,
it's just the most beautiful thing I
yeah.
have ever experienced.
It really is a beautiful thing. And I think this is the gift of your book because it helps people experience the beauty of Ramadan. Obviously, there's so much anti-Muslim press out there and anti-Muslim sentiment at times. And it really is a religion of peace. It really is a religion of good-hearted people. And Ramadan is a beautiful time in the calendar. Yes, it's a time of self-sacrifice. It's a time of fasting, but it's also a time of gratitude, as you mentioned, and a time of coming together, right?
Absolutely. They're all like, because each day I talk about a different topic. So gratitude is right up there,
Yeah,
that you're just grateful for everything. I mean, for another Ramadan. It's,
yeah.
I get to experience another Ramadan. I don't know if I'm gonna experience next year. So
Mm.
you want to just really appreciate and be grateful for what you have here and now. It's not like you were saying, I would try not to eat in front of people. I don't
Yeah,
mind if people eat in front of me. This is my choice.
yeah,
And it's if people want to eat, then eat.
right.
It doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah, well, I'm a little too empathetic. I couldn't eat in front of other people who hadn't eaten. So it is a personal choice, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
So, pilgrimages to Mecca, do they happen during Ramadan?
Well, it depends. That's a good question. It depends. No, it doesn't, because Hajj is after Ramadan.
Okay,
Every year. I had to
gotcha.
think there for a
Sure.
moment.
Yeah, I'm thinking back to what I knew about Islam from working, like I said, at an Islamic TV station.
Yeah. No,
But
you have Ramadan, and then you have Eid, and then, next month you have Hajj.
Hajj. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I knew they were close together. I didn't know if
Yeah.
they overlapped.
And then
Um,
you have another Eid after that.
yes. Yep. Now,
Yeah.
you mentioned that gratitude is one of the topics you focus on your book. What are some of these other, what you might call devotionals that you'll find in the book?
Patience for sure. And
Mhm.
patience is, when you're hungry, some people might get a little cranky.
Mhm.
And so naturally, patience is huge. Patience for yourself, patience for others, patience just, for everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And on that line, along that line, you've written another book, To Whom It May Concern, A Path to Contentment. Tell us
Yeah.
about that work.
Well, that's like that's a little bit about my own journey.
Mhm.
Um, I I I was born and raised in Sweden,
Mhm.
and I moved to America when I was 20.
Mhm.
And so my journey in the US has been one of just kind of figuring out who I am.
Mhm.
because coming from Sweden and jumping into the American culture is not always easy. And
Yeah.
I found myself becoming someone that I didn't know. So
Mm.
when I was about 40, um, I divorced,
Mhm.
and that was a tough time, and I learned so much after that. And then, to skip ahead, when I was 50, I went on a little journey
Mhm.
around the world. And when I was on that journey, I kind of found myself, and and everything just kind of clicked. And I was thinking back at everything that had happened to me, and why it happened to me, and how it happened to me.
Mhm.
And then I've always liked writing, and when I came back after 6 years, I kind of gathered all my thoughts
Mhm.
and what I have been through, and I wrote a book about coming full circle, about contentment. Everything happens for a reason, and
Yeah.
that's how the book about contentment came along. And I kind of find a peace within myself and accepting myself for who I am, and not worrying so much about what other people think about me anymore. Because it
Wonderful.
was a little bit tough, um, reverting, like, revert back to Islam. It was a little bit. I lost some family and friends,
Mm.
and they probably didn't really understand why I chose this path, although I had studied it for many years.
Yeah.
Nobody really, I guess, understood. So you kind of have to come full circle and accept yourself for who you are, and what you want out of life, and not
Yeah.
worry so much about what other people think.
Exactly. That's a big lesson in life, learning how to be comfortable in your own skin and having people accept you for as you are and not
Yeah,
worry about their judgments and not worry about their opinions. It can be hard. It can be a lonely path at times,
yeah,
but you seem like you have found the path to contentment, which is wonderful.
yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you. It,
absolutely.
it it has not been easy, but and that's what I write a little bit about in the book, about being alone. And
Mm,
that's where Islam comes in, because when you are alone, you always have someone with you,
yeah,
Allah in this case, and so you're never alone. And um it it's not that easy to explain, because you kind of have
sure,
to feel it yourself. But
sure.
I hope the book, A Path to Contentment, I hope I have explained, um, or told my story, um, in a good way for people
Yeah.
to understand it.
Absolutely. You've written that book very, very well. I think it's an important tool for a lot of people, important lessons contained within the pages. And this is a wonderful book as well. It's a gift to the world. As I said, it is called Ramadan 30-Day Journey. In it, Marianne provides a day-by-day guide to deepening faith, fostering patience, and embracing gratitude throughout this sacred month. Marianne, thank you so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.